Once again, the powerful figure of Iron Man streaks over the city like a golden gladiator.
Not bad. Less than an hour, and there's the capital now.
Hey there, kids. Welcome back. David from Atomic Candy, and right now I am open by chance, and what I am opening up with for you here today is the Mezco 1/12 Collective PX Previews exclusive Invincible Iron Man. And of course, this is also called the Stealth Iron Man. Reason being that he's in blue metallic colors. This is the second Iron Man that was released, or second one due to be released. The original one, of course, is in the classic gold and red. And then there was a convention exclusive that was gold and black that was not announced. Go ahead and get these tapes off. This tape's on there pretty good. There we go. But this was technically the second one, even though it came out after the convention exclusive. All three of them are essentially the same figure, by the way. They just repainted it. Take the sleeve off, and they always do that. They always put a sleeve and a bag, which is a good idea. Keep it safe and clean. This is in a tin, obviously, and the tin is intact, fortunately, because very often these tins are dented, scratched, they get banged up in shipping. You get the idea. Stealth armor, there it is. Got the warning label. It's a toy, but it isn't. If you bust it up, it's on you. And a set of instructions, because this one takes batteries. It has light up features. So we'll put that to the side. Take the paper off here. Some wax paper. And there's our figure. You still can't see him very well because of the plastic shell, but we are going to be opening him up and examining him to see how he looks and how well articulated he is. The inner clamshell came out there. If I can even get a hold of it. There we go. Got a finger groove somewhere. There we go. The stand, 1/12 collective bag, the arm, pair of batteries, the tin that I'll have to hide because my wife always wants these tins. So I was like, I'm going to take that tin and do something with it. No! No, you're not. Let's lift the tray off. Iron Man, one of the most popular of the Marvel characters. Been around for quite a while. Here he is. And he's supposed to have die-cast components, and he is in fact rather heavy. So we're going to go ahead, and I don't want to tip this any further. You can see some pieces already trying to slide out. Go ahead and take everything out of there and see how he looks. And here we are again, back with our Mezco One Collective Invincible Iron Man Stealth Armor Edition PX Previews exclusive in the blue armor, two different shades of blue, and you can see I've already put in the battery components. I'll go ahead and cut a little bit of light there so you can get a better idea. And that's basically it. Nothing else lights up. I thought maybe his eyes, or maybe something coming out of the hands or some other effect, but no, that's all you get is just the chest piece lighting up. He is a bit heavier than most of the other Mezco figures because he does have die-cast components. He weighs in at about 7 ounces, so he is heavier than the other ones. Not as heavy as the Dark Side, because I weighed the Dark Side in at well over a pound. It's a much larger figure. This one looks pretty good overall. I do like it. I like the metallic paint scheme. I like the stealth armor look. Iron Man's a very popular character in action figures. You can tell that from Hot Toys, as I think they make more Iron Mans than anything, don't they? Hot Toys makes a ton of Iron Mans. Mezco's only done 3, and as I pointed out, basically they did the same exact figure 3 times. They just painted him differently. All 3 are metallic. I think they're identical. That's the pack right there. When you open that up is where the batteries are. See, there's the battery compartment and the little switch. There's a little door that goes over the batteries, but I've left it off for now. Go ahead and put that back. Changing the batteries out was not difficult at all. Sometimes it's kind of tricky putting batteries in and out of these figures, but it was actually fairly simple on this one. Really easy components. The Invincible Iron Man, originally from Tales of Suspense number 39, way back in 1963. He lives, he walks, he conquers. That's what the inscription was on the cover of that comic. He lives, he walks, he conquers. A brainchild, the character that is, Iron Man and Tony Stark, of Jack Kirby, of course, Don Heck, Stan Lee, and Larry Lieber. Brainstormed to get that together. Let's look at the accessories. It's a pair of grasping hands, like reaching out and grabbing sort of hands. Armored gloves, and they have the red spot in the center, but of course it doesn't really do anything because it doesn't light up in the hands. A pair of reaching or flying hands, and there is an indentation in this one. You see there's like depth to the hole because you can put blasting effects inside of his hands, but not with these. There's no depth to these hands, so you cannot put a blast effect in those. I don't know why they did it for one set of hands and not the other, but what do I know? Firing rocket pads, and these actually go on his side, like right here. That disc comes off and this one replaces it, so you can like shoot these little rockets if you choose to. 2 missiles that fire out of his wrist gauntlets. These fit into the tops of his hands right there. 112 Collective bag. A lot of people like these bags. I never use them. I never use those. The battery door, which I've left out for now. The posing arm, which this one should work for him to get him into a flying pose. I've had some difficulty with the arms recently, basically because the figures were too big for them, something that Mezco didn't think of with like Darkseid and the Hulk, for example. That's just the container the batteries came in. This is a chest blasting effect. The disc on his chest apparently comes off, and this snaps in its place so that you can make a firing port from his chest, a blasting effect from his chest, which should light up. 2 of his hand blasting effects, which will not light up, apparently. And jet propulsion effects. 2 for the hands and 2 for the feet. Something interesting they did also with this figure, because I'm going to take this off for a moment to test the articulation, is I'll show you the bottom of the feet. They actually made 4 holes, which gives you more options for the foot peg on the bottom of the stand. although I'm sure that this has something to do more so with the little flying effect thing, because it plugs into either one. Maybe you could put two there if you want to, or put it on his heel, wherever you want to put that. That's the disc that's supposed to, it either comes off or the other one fits over it. I don't think it would fit over that. I think you would have to remove this disc. I'm not sure how. There we go. And then you can put that in there. I guess I need the other one. Got to measure it out to the slot so that it, there we are. Like he's firing little missiles out of his hip. This bit here though feels really fragile, so be careful swapping those if you do that. So onto the articulation. Double jointed neck, so a lot of movement there, a lot of head movement. That's actually really good. I like that. And this is a faceplate, by the way. Comes off to reveal Tony Stark inside, and there's like a little readout on the inside of here, a sticker. And I guess you can set this somehow. It's supposed to lock onto the top of his helmet. There we go, so that it can have it faceplate open. Shoulders aren't bad. They're nice and loose. They move around pretty good. Double jointed elbow, but stops about right there, even though it's got a, see, 1, 2. That's about as far as that's going to go. Bicep rotation. Good hand movement. We'll go ahead and change one of these out just to see. That came right off. And I'll put this one in here. No problem changing the hands. You can test one of those blasting effects real quick. Like that. It feels like his hand should go up for, yeah, that's a little better. Not quite sure how that comes off, this disc, or if the other one is supposed to just fit over it. No, this is supposed to come out somehow. So may as well go ahead and test that. There it comes. And then this should lock in here, which looks kind of silly. See how well that reflects through. I'll shut the lights. You can see it in the back, and I know it still seems like it's kind of bright in here, but if you turn it up, you can see the glow only gets to about this far. It does not follow all the way through. Not sure if I would be using the chest blasting effect anyways. It's nice to have the option though. Side to side's not bad. Look at that. Pivots at the chest, back and forth. A little bit of twist at the chest though, not at the waist. The waist barely moves. That's a pretty good split for Tony Stark. Forward and back with leg movement, not bad. Seated split. Double jointed at the knee. That's pretty good. Fluid. Pivots at the calf. Turns at the calf. Pretty decent ankle tilt. Up and down motion. A little bit limited on up and down, but that's not bad. No toe bend. I thought there would be, but there is not. Alright. So let's go ahead and get him into a pose and see how he looks.
Think she wants the Gallagher?
And we are back with our Mezco 112 Collective Invincible Iron Man Stealth Armor Edition in a little bit of a pose. The stand does support him rather well, even though he is heavier than the average figure. He is pretty flexible, and I like that he has all these blasting effects and other options to try to make him a bit more dynamic, so that you can get him up there and you can make him do things. I'm just doing something simple right now for the purpose of demonstration, but you get the idea. See how they snap into the heels, into the bottom of the hand there, to make it look like he's flying. So you can get a good flying effect for him, classic flying effect, or hovering, or you can pose him standing and blasting. I like this one. I like what they did with the Iron Man. A little wobbly on the stand there, as you can see, but that's alright. He's not toppling over. He's getting himself into a bit of trouble with the Hulk, because Hulk's not a character you want to mess with too much. That's a Toy Biz Hulk, by the way. I've used him a few times in these videos. He's pretty flexible. I like the overall look of the figure. I like that he comes with a lot of accessories. What do you think? Does anybody out there have this Iron Man, or maybe you have a different Mezco Iron Man? Which one's your favorite? The classic red and gold, the stealth armor, or the black and gold? That was the convention exclusive. I'd like to get a hold of the black and gold one. I'd like to get all three actually and put them together. The convention one's going to be a little difficult to get your hands on though. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. I hope you did. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you're new. Check out some of our other videos. I do a lot of unboxings of not just Mezco but other 1/6 scale figures, and sometimes I showcase vintage toys and items. We do discussions on this channel. Weekly roundups. We got a lot going on, and of course the more of you there are, the more that we can do here. Hold still, Tony. Find us on Instagram, Open by Chance on Instagram. And we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.
An emergency call on my built-in radio transceiver.
Calling Iron Man. This is Pepper Potts calling Iron Man. Mr. Stark is urgently needed at his factory. You must locate...